Looking at the macro shots, I mean it's not even close. See what I did there? No? Okay. Okay, so instead of doing a regular camera comparison, I decided to do a blind test so that it'll remove any kind of bias. So I'll be labeling the phones as phone A and phone B. Choose your pick and also the reason why you chose that pick. Let's start. First, let's look at the low light selfie. This selfie is taken in pitch dark and the only light source used is the phone's flash. Feel free to pause the screen or go back if necessary. This is just a standard selfie taken under bright sunlight. This selfie is taken with the portrait mode under the same bright sunlight. Now let's look at the low light images. This shot is taken in standard mode. Again, another shot in standard mode. So this time the night mode is turned on. Here's another shot with the night mode turned on. Now this is just a standard shot taken on auto. And here's another shot in different lighting condition where there's not a lot of light. So choose your pick. This is a wide angle shot. Again, another wide angle shot taken in different lighting condition. This is a 64 megapixel shot and I'm really curious as to which one you would pick and why, because this is by far the most challenging of the lot. Okay, so this is a macro shot. I mean, it's quite obvious what you're going to pick, but I took the same image with phone B a little farther away to get it into focus. So it's quite obvious which phone is the winner. So try and guess which is the Poco and which one is Realme. This time let's see the video from the selfie camera.
Frames per second. So how do I sound and what do you think about the atmosphere here is pretty windy. The audio quality, just be mindful of that. This particular clip, just be mindful of that. So yeah, let me know.
Now let's look at the video footage from the rear camera. So this is the 1080p footage recording at 30 frames per second. This is the 1080p footage recording at 60 frames per second. This is 4K. Hopefully you made all your picks and it's time for the results. For the low light selfie, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. Now with the Poco X2 you have the warmer flash which helps with accurate skin tones. With the Realme X2 the flash is brighter which does help in lighting up a substantial portion of the image, but the only issue is some details are overexposed, whereas if you look at the Poco selfie, everything is well balanced. Now coming to this selfie, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. As you can see, the problem with the Realme X2 is that the background is way too overexposed, whereas with Poco it still has exposure issues, but it's not as bad as the Realme X2. And since the exposure of Poco's image is better, you can clearly notice better details in certain portions of the image. Next, looking at the portrait selfie, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. Edge detection is great on both the phones, but the issue with exposure still persists with Realme, so Poco again is the winner here. Now let's look at the low light images. This is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. This is the standard shot. Although Poco's image has a lot of noise, it does a pretty good job of retaining a lot more details, whereas there's visibly less noise on Realme's image, but it's lacking in detail. Here are the images with night mode turned on. This is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. The same is the case with these images as well. Realme doesn't have a lot of noise, but it's lacking the details, whereas Poco does a pretty good job of retaining a lot of details. Realme's images just look blurred out in certain areas. Moving on to the daylight shots, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. Poco has better dynamic range. As you can see, the highlights and shadows are represented pretty well. Realme has a cooler color temperature and Poco has a warmer color temperature. With this image, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. In this image, Realme has muted colors. Apart apart from that, there isn't much to differentiate between the two. Moving to the wide angle shot, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. Realme X2 has slightly wider perspective, but in my opinion you wouldn't go wrong with either of these phones unless you want the widest possible image, and if that's the case, Realme X2 is the winner here. Now moving to the 64 megapixel image, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2, and I personally found it to be the most challenging because it's pretty hard to differentiate between the two images, so let's just call this a tie. Next, looking at the macro shots, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. I mean, it's not even close. See what I did there? No? Okay. When it comes to the video side of things, with the selfie camera, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. The Poco X2 has a warmer color temperature and Realme X2 has a cooler color temperature. The audio on the Poco X2 is richer and overexposure issues continue with the video as well for the Realme X2. Moving to the video from the rear camera, with the 1080p footage shot at 30 frames per second, this is the Poco X2 and this is the Realme X2. Stabilization is present on both the phones. When it comes to 60 fps footage, Realme doesn't have stabilization, but with 4K video, Poco doesn't have stable footage. Okay, so those are the results. How many did you get right? Leave a comment down below and watch the video again to see how accurately you've predicted. And if you're interested in more videos like this, click here and I'll see you in that video.